Hello people of YouTube and welcome to my channel. Haven't got much on this channel, but this is the first time that I'm actually doing something like this, so all I ask for you is to have a bit of patience and bear with me, and hopefully as time goes on people will interact with me more. So what I really wanted to touch on and talk about really is just Love is Blind, because I actually have watched every episode and now we're on to a new season with some lovely couples. Well, some of them are lovely, not all of them are lovely. So, recap on the couples. You've got Chelsea and Kwame. You did have Zach and Arena, but that has changed up, so more of that later. We do have Marshall and Jackie, and we do have Tiffany and Brett. Now, I'm hoping things happen well with Tiffany and Brett, because I actually love Tiffany and Brett, to be fair. Who else did I miss out? Did I miss anybody else out? Paul and Micah. Yes, we have Paul and Micah, and we have many things to talk about when it comes to Paul and Micah, but we shall see. So, my first thing I'm just throwing out there is the situation between Zach and Arena. I'm glad Zach saw the light, but as we know now, he's going to have this meal with Bliss, and I have to say, what I'm not getting across from him is any real kind of explanation as to why he chose Arena at the end of the day. Because my first thought is if you had this love and this such big attraction for Bliss, why didn't you take that opportunity? Bliss even warned you in terms of what Arena was like, but you still decided to not heed her warning and still went there. But more on that afterwards. Also, I have to think about as well is at the beginning of this episode, I forgot to say the episode, didn't I? Episode 6. At the beginning of this episode, you see Arena talking about Zach and about how if she has any feelings for Zach's surface, then she'll go and find him and speak her piece. No, love, that ship has sailed. You will not speak your piece. You will stay away from him and let him get on with his life. Because at the end of the day, looking the way that you look, I don't know where you had the audacity, to be fair. I think you just wanted I think she just wanted a free holiday. That's all she wanted. Because even though they say they do this challenge to see if love is actually blind, for her, love was not blind. She didn't really like Zach. And you could tell that from the time when Zach started singing to her and she was laughing behind her hand. All she wanted to do was point score off Bliss, because she knew that him and Bliss had a different type of connection. And I wish Zach had chose Bliss from the get-go, but you live and you learn, and we shall move on. And then, of course, we'll go on to the fact that Micah and Paul had the talk in terms of issues with Arena, because Arena again throwing the spanner in the work with Micah. Because my thing is you're calling her your best friend. How well do you know this woman set foot in the pods? You don't know her like that to call her your best friend. And I'm looking at you sideways because your best friend was hitting on your fella at the end of the day. She was going for him at the end of the day. And you could tell that in the way that when Michael was asking Paul these questions in terms of, oh, Irina said this, and Paul was giving his answers. But then I also have a little of a bone to pick with Paul, because at the end of the day, he was questioning his connection to Micah, and how he's going about things at the moment is kind of like, well, what game is it that you're playing now? Because at the end of the day, when you were talking to Zach and Zach was talking about he made the wrong choice and he probably would have went for Bliss, you was there steady talking about Amber. So, makes me question. I don't know about their relationship, to be fair. I don't know if it's going to work out or if it isn't. So, but then I come to Marshall. To Marshall. At the end of the day, I think Marshall is a good person. I think Marshall is a good man. But when it comes to him and Jackie's relationship, I really don't think that's going to work. And I'll say that from the get-go. I don't think that they are going to work out, because Jackie has too many issues that she probably will need therapy for. There, I've said it. Tell me what you think in the comments about their relationship, and tell me what you think in the comments in regards to Jackie's behaviours towards Marshall, because I think Marshall is the right person, but he's the right person at the wrong time. She's not ready for someone like Marshall because she's too used to having these toxic type of relationships and believing that a man has to be a certain way when that's not the case at all. With Marshall, he's open in terms of his feelings, and you can tell she's not had that before. And another thing that I wanted to go on to as well is, how do people, like with Kwame and Jackie, they're both talking about, you know, my family this, my family that, I don't know if they'll like it or not. How do you go on shows like this and not tell your family about it? But then furthermore, how do you go on shows like this knowing full well that your family will not be happy with what you're doing? My first thought would be is really seriously think if you wanted to go on this show, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to get to a point to tell your parents, because you're expecting them at the wedding and you're expecting them to meet your other significant half. So how that's going to work out when you know that their attitude is going to be piss poor in the first place, I don't know. And then I have to go on to Tiffany and Brett. Yes. Tiffany and Brett, my favourite couple. I hope beyond hope that they work out and they get to that wedding and say yes to each other, because they're just absolutely perfect for each other, and the way that they communicate with each other is just fucking second level. Sorry about my swearing, I do swear a lot. I just can't, right now, I just can't fault them. I can't fault their relationship. I can't fault anything, and nothing's come up yet for them that's been heavily challenging in that regard. So to be fair, I can't fault them. All I'm seeing is black love at the moment, and I'm wanting this to work out. So I'm hoping the Netflix producers or the Love is Blind producers don't throw them with the fucking, there I go again, don't throw a spanner in the works, because I really, 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 really want them to work out. Oh, and off topic, but their name for me is Brittany. Tiffany and Brittany. Yes. So, and then we get on to the fact that Micah meets Arena, goes out for a meal with Arena, and they chat a bit about Paul. I want to know, how did you lot think that went? Because from my viewpoint, I would say that Micah warned Arena off completely. Micah said it with her whole chest. And I kind of think Arena was a little bit put out that Paul did not fancy her. Because I thought, how do you have the audacity to sit there and tell her you respect her to her face, and then through that conversation, you're trying to find out if you can have an opening in terms of Paul, to see if Paul fancies you or if there was anything there through his fiancée. This is why that woman couldn't be trusted. This is why that woman was so disgusting. She is not a nice person. And I have to be quite frank, when Micah's with her, Micah's not a nice person either. It's like they rub off on each other. But since Arena hasn't been there, Micah's been kind of okay and palatable. She hasn't been too bad at all. And there's not much more I can say in regards to Micah. I kind of think she might be a little bit spoiled. That's what I think. I don't know if Paul and Micah will work out. That remains to be seen. Because I kind of think they're a little bit different. I don't know if Paul actually really loves Micah, because as I said at the Paul thing, when she was talking to Kwame and Zach and Paul were talking, the impression that I got was Paul picked the wrong one and was thinking about Amber. And then that leads me on to Kwame and some of the stuff that he does. But I'd have to say, yeah, it was effed up the way he was talking with Micah at the pool, because I swear if that was me, that conversation would not have went down in any way, shape or form. I'm glad Chelsea pulled him up about it, But now in this episode, there's things about Chelsea that is starting to come to the forefront, especially around her anxiety in terms of how people think and how she how she perceives herself to other people. And then that takes on like a little world of its own, and then she pulls Kwame into that little anxiety vortex of hers. So then that brings his, I don't know, that brings him down to her level where he's trying to be there for her in that sense, but she's worrying over some nonsensical things. To me, she's worrying over nonsensical things at the end of the day. I just don't know if they're going to work out either. I just really don't know. I just don't see it because Kwame is very much still into Micah. No matter what he's saying to Chelsea, he's very much still into Micah. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Sorry, people, as you heard at the end of that one, that was the doorbell. So, you know, needs must, had to get up and answer the door. Yeah, as I said, I don't know how Chelsea and Kwame are going to work out. I think a lot more comes in the other episodes, which is what I'm going to talk about and highlight on. So yeah, and definitely highlight more on Zach and the Bliss situation. So I'm going to kind of end it there because I don't know what else to say to you. But if you have any questions or any comments that you want to put down, or anything that you think I may have missed during my little, you know, discussion about episode 6 of Love is Blind, then please drop them in the comments. Drop it all in the comments and I will read them all, and I will try and put things in that people want or that people want to highlight, that think I should have discussed or talked about. But I will say that episode 6 is a bit light on things at the moment because, you know, episode 6 is where they've really just like started to move in with each other, starting to get a feel of each other and starting to know who each other is and how the dynamic works within their, you know, little Persuado family. So episode 7, I'll more than likely have a lot more to talk about because there'll be a lot more that's probably gone on. But I shall sign off here. Thanks for at least listening to me and at least getting this far. Bye.